Number 3, the gold in the deep. Can you look up? If you are a woman and your family are not people of the deep, look for the deep. Go there and marry a cripple. Send your beautiful daughter to go to a deep family and marry a cripple. The weak legs will not matter if there is name. Names are not easily gotten. Excuse me. There is a difference between looking for and getting. Don't forget, you have to look for when it is kept. Let me say again. I say you can only look for when it is kept. Now, you don't look for when it is not kept. Can I say it again? I say you don't when it is not kept. So you don't look for gold where there is not. Just like you have a husband and you want a quality of children, you cannot manufacture children from 2 vessels that cannot produce them. Except, let me say again, I said, whatever that should be added from what is provided. Rather than your paper. I said, whatever that should be added from what is originally provided. Now, if there is no original provision, you cannot look for gold at the surface. There is something I said in the beginning. I'm going to repeat it before you sit down. I said, why some people are poor is because they are not born into a deep family. Please hear me. Please listen to me. When there is deep revelation, there will also be a strong character. Faith is a spirit in people that should have it. Can I say it again? I say faith is a spirit. It can be improved, but its nature does not come from preaching, because it requires substance of life. I say faith requires substance of life. Now I'm talking about you are a golden man, and this man is a golden woman. People that are golden don't follow straight path. No. God is not a religious personality. That is why he is not found in the straight path. A lot of people who call themselves Christians and believers, declaring God as their father, have not met him. They cannot meet him. They can't meet him because they don't know the way to the deep. They don't know God. They will never know him. Listen, I said they are only in the church looking for God. From the shallowness of their heart, they cannot find a personality in the deep. They pray and call Holy Ghost fire. God is not with them. You see, because they can't find him. So if they can't find him, they do religious practices. What is called powerless religious practices. I say powerless. Powerless religious practices. Sometimes a young man said, that lady wanted to seduce me. I said, what do you mean by seducing you? What do you mean by seduce? You have seduced yourself because you don't have value. You say all the people who open their body and all of that in the church. I'm not saying I push you. You know, I attack open bodies. But if when you see a woman's body you have a problem, I think you should not be a preacher. You're sick. Just sick person. A sick person should not be a preacher. You cannot meet God until your heart is deep to go into the deep. And God will not stop being complicated. So how can somebody at the surface, excuse me, if somebody is saying, I met God, let me ask you, can you prevent us from seeing you? Huh? And if we see you, can't we see what your life is all about? Is there anybody that we can see and we can see what his life is all about? Deep is calling to deep, and God is a spirit of the deep. Listen, I don't care who is praying for you. God will never make shallow people rich. Something that is shallow will never go to people. Something that is very important, we never go to people who are in the deep. For instance, the church knows that Jesus will come. The church knows, and everybody is afraid of heresy. Is afraid of making mistake. Have you seen a child that is learning to walk that didn't fall? What about if God start deepening your heart into the deep things? Start teaching you things that are not conventional. Is it not possible? Huh? Is it not possible? And then suddenly you're afraid. How do God continue? Since your approach to the unknown is fear or heresy. If that was what Jesus was afraid of, the messianism that brought us here wouldn't have been accomplished. Because the Jews keep on telling him that you are blasphemous. Huh? He said, for what reason do you want to stone me? For all the good works. He said, no, for good. He said, for you making yourself, you that is a man, making yourself equal with God. Now, listen. That the Jews didn't have access to that deep, does it make it blasphemous? They don't have access. We are not meant to be at the same level of knowledge. Just like the river of Ezekiel. Some people must stop encounter at the ankle. Some must go a little bit to the knee. Some must go a little bit to the loins. Somebody who is at the ankle and somebody who is at the loins cannot interpret God the same way. And then somebody who is at the loins cannot interpret God as somebody who the water has overflowed, who the water is carrying. So the anger is it that God chose to hide something you don't know from, something to reveal something you don't know to another person? Or that a situation is complicated? A situation is what? A situation is complicated, and so it is wrong because it is complicated. And then somebody saying, Shepherd, why are you saying it? I am saying it because we are in a time of victory. The time of victory is a time of complication. Why some people are poor is because the revelation that should make them rich might be attacked by those who are in the surface. The encounter that should explode them because of fear. You want ordinary people to accept you. You want to be acceptable because of weakness of mentality. You want to be acceptable to ordinary minds. Is there no difference between being acceptable by ordinary minds and being successful? Is there any man that is successful that ordinary minds didn't attack? You saw that car there move across the main road, 200 million, 280, 300, 4. The first thing that came into your mind are those who stole church money, stole Nigerian money. It was a good car means stealing. What about those that think that way? explain to you. What I'm about to say will make you afraid. Immortality is a covenant that will never be given to ordinary people. Shallow minds. It will never. That covenant is what declared the omnipotence of God. So ordinary minds will never have it. Can you see that now? I say ordinary minds. Ordinary minds will never be immortal. It is not even a covenant that comes from begging. What do I say? I say it's not a covenant that comes from. No, it's not a covenant that comes from begging. That means it is not a covenant that responds to prayer. No, it doesn't respond to prayer. It's a covenant of the deep. If Satan knows where to find you, then you will not be immortal. I said, if Satan knows where to find you, then you will not be immortal. So immortality is not a covenant that people obtain by confession. This is more serious. Now, Kennedy, understanding the power of your confession. That is what I'm going on. I'm going to keep going on in it. It's just, I didn't announce it, but I want to bring it. Now, please, let me help you with something. Let me help you with something. I have never seen a day like today in my life. I have never seen a day like today. Why? Can you look up? A lot of pastors and churches are not prosperous. Can I tell you why they are not prosperous? They are working hard on things that are on the surface. No matter how you work hard on things that are on the surface, it will make you an average man. Something that cannot conquer Satan will not explode a man. Let me say it again. Something that will not explode a man. Something on the surface will not explode a man. I'm talking about the power of confession. We all know about talking the positive. But which positive do you talk about? Can I ask a young man to look up or a lady to look up? Since you were born, how many decisions have you taken from discovery? That is, you decide this and somebody taught you, you feel like you should destroy the person's life. Because you know how much you suffered before this thought came to you.